welcome Natalie Wakeling.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. So a lot of our listeners are actually located in the States and in the UK and various other countries. So for those that haven't met you before, well, I'll start by saying anyone listening from Australia would recognise Nat from Dolly and Girlfriend magazine way back when as Australia's first plus-size editorial model. And when I met you through work, I was like, I know this woman. So it was very exciting to meet you way back in 2000 and something.
I know.
And
how long have we been going on this rant and tangent, and it just keeps going round and round? Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's a really good point. And the reason I wanted to chat with you today, because we met when I was working at Simon Perel.
Yes.
As their marketing manager. You were modelling. You started Embody Denim, which is now Embody Women.
Yes.
And you were working with BGM Models, Australia's first plus-size modelling agency. And yes, we were all really passionate about the importance of having curvy women modelling clothing. For me, knowing what size was the most commonly bought bra, which was sort of like a 14D, 16D, and not being able to find curvy models to fit the samples that we received. And you guys, of course, obviously on the bandwagon of the average size woman is a size 14 to 16. Why in gentle baby Jesus do we not have more curvy models? Why do we not have more inclusive sizing? Now, we were banging on about that in the early 2000s, I'm going to say.
And look, what I find is we take 2 steps forward, 80 steps back. We have these really fabulous fashion editors come on board that are really in tune with what women want to see. And they will do a few features on curves and do a few curve placements and a few editorials and stories. But to tell you the truth, there has not been anything major happen in Australia. I would say for the last 10 years or more, there has been no fashion editor step up to the plate and do something quite regular with featuring great fashion stories.
Yeah, that's the difference. So when we were working together with the beautiful Laura Wells, who would be booked as, and the same for any of the other sort of curvy prominent models, they're typically booked for a feature rather than having this paradigm shift where we now just have model. It's no longer, are you a plus size or are you a standard sample size? So for everyone that is listening, you started Embody Denim in 2006. Tell us a little bit about Embody Denim and its trajectory, and then we will get to some other exciting things. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to
I know.
ADHD brain and focus on some key things.
I think we should just do this weekly. Let's do a check-in, and we'll monitor the media and the market, and we'll give them all a score out of 10 on how they're going. Okay, what do you think?
That is such a good creative idea. Put that one on the agenda.
Yes,
now, tell us about Embody Denim and its evolution to Embody Women.
So, I was paid by the pound, basically. So let's get in that curvy chick, pay her by the pound. Darianne would negotiate a really good rate for the plus-size model every time there was a denim feature. So it was always, okay, denim, let's stick her in some men's jeans. Now, what's really quite ironic is as a 16-year-old at a size 10 to 12, back in 2015 or something, going jean shopping with my sisters, the sales assistant would say the same thing to me. I'm really sorry, that beautiful Levi's 501 just doesn't come in your size. Just pop over to the men's department. And, not only was my nickname growing up called Fat Nat and Friends. Do you remember Fat Cat?
Oh, my God, yes, but
yes, so really I've got this whole, I grew up in the back of the boutique. My mum was in the rag trade. She used to sell Q clothing, all the way back then. And
which is another Australian brand.
Another amazing brand. And, sitting in the back of the boutique playing with fluoro socks and bubble skirts. Can't believe they're coming back. Another conversation. The women would come in and go, Dulcie, do you have this in a size 14? And mum would go, I'm so sorry, they don't go above size 14. So even as a young woman, all I've ever heard is, I'm really sorry, we don't make that in your size. I'm so sorry. No, you're too fat. You can't have that. You don't deserve to look good. You're not allowed to enjoy life. You're excluded from life. Okay? You're above a size 12, excluded. So my passion, once, ironically, I became a plus size model, and then Cosmo started booking me quite regularly. Like it was a full-on feature. Once Mia Friedman became the editor, started the Body Love campaign. Mm-hmm. She made a huge decision to put a curvy model in every issue. Now, that was back in 2009. They had bags of letters to ACP requesting to see more. So as long as she was editor, that was happening. And that launched the careers of some of the most well-known plus-size models you see today, such as Laura.
Yeah, Laura and Robin.
All of them. Anyone that's
so
ever
bizarre.
Any success overseas is because of an editor putting her hand up and being brave enough to go, we're going to make this cool, we're not going to make it daggy, and we're not going to dress her in men's clothes, and she's not going to wear a potato sack. So then a country girl, I could never get jeans, and the biggest moment of my life was going into Maya and not being able to buy a pair of Sass & Bide jeans. I was gutted.
So for those of you that know, Sass & Bide is an Australian brand. When Sass & Bide started, I know exactly where I was because we all bought their first range of denim, which was
this big.
Yes, that was so low rise that I think half of my anus was actually visibly shut. Like that is how low.
You actually couldn't have a vagina.
No.
Can we say that word on your podcast?
We had to get a top bikini wax to actually slip because it was so low. So to have really low-rise denim and with a massive flared leg. But I remember from a pop cultural perspective, when those jeans hit Australia, the feeling of either being able to get into them or not was really distinct.
You had made it. You had made it if you fitted a pair, and I got so cranky. I was furious. I just had my first baby. I was 26, and I'm like, I am done with this. I'm going to make my own denim brand. And I basically threw out the rule book when it came to measurements with bodies, because we're not all Barbie, for goodness sake. We don't all have 36, 24, 36. I knew I carried weight around my midsection, and I knew there were a lot of women like me that just couldn't get jeans to fit around their belly, particularly after you have a baby or 2 or 3. Your body just changes. You have hips. So I knew there was a huge gap in the market. Coincidentally, this is the same time I got signed to Ford overseas, went overseas, worked over there, saw exactly what was going on with the plus size market in America and was blown away. Came back with fire in my belly, and that's basically how Embodied Denim was started. I was a crazy woman dragging kids around dirty old factories. They were vomiting on my suppliers. They were pooing their pants. It was so glamorous. Like, it was just wonderful. A wonderful time.
This is why I love you, and this is why I wanted to share this story, because if you have a look at the Embodied Women website, you'd be like, holy shit, this woman, like, this is a massive corporation. And I know, having spoken to you for hours at a time over the years, when we're all just barely hanging on to a nervous breakdown, and the fact that you started this business with no money, no capital, no one investing in you, it was the ultimate bootstrap. Like, every day I'm just going to push, I'm going to send 1,000 emails, I'm going to try, because of what I believe in is so strong.
Yeah.
And so I think that your story of perseverance is a genuine inspiration story, because it's like everyone that starts a business without any cash.
You just got to hang in. You got to hang in there long enough, and you just got to keep riding it and keep pushing it till someone listens, and eventually someone does listen. Sometimes that person isn't born yet. We just have to wait for that person to be born, like, in all seriousness.
Okay, that's a worry, and we'll put a pin on our age discussions. But to go from children vomiting on suppliers to being in the curve-edited Australian Fashion Week, that's a pretty sort of broad, long journey. So you, with Embodied Denim, you have expanded the collection to include women's wear, just general apparel, haven't you? When did you do that?
That was not until around 2012, 2013. Like, it was a few years later. I was purely focused on denim, but then obviously women are screaming at me, not literally screaming, but they're going, please, can you please make some dresses? Can you make some tops to go with my jeans? Because again, getting a good basic white cut T-shirt that doesn't cut you in your arms so you look like a sausage was another item women just could not get. So I just, the brand has grown very slowly. And I think that's why I'm still here. But I also have a huge amount of support from 78% of the population that wear a dress size over a size 14. So, hello, why are stores only catering to 22% of the market?
So
why are we excluded?
It's so interesting. I have a lot of styling clients that have so I work with personal stylists to help them with their marketing and their business. But they serve Australian women, American women, women from all around the world, who are all, as we know, an average like a 14 to 18 sort of as the median size. And one of the challenges has always been the limitation or the scarcity of available brands and products for what is deemed as a plus size client, which means you're either, as one of our stylists, Bridget, says, you're either going to the back of the rack for the one or two kind of, at the end of the size range.
And hope they're there because they're all sold out.
Yeah. Or it's just, there's nothing fabulous about it. So when you get from a styling perspective, when you've got a client that says, yeah, I've got the money, I'm happy to invest in you to build my wardrobe and to plan my outfits. I'm also looking to invest in quality garments, beautiful fabrics or design, even designer brands. We're still currently in a situation where, and I always say to my stylist, go to Embody, here's Natalie's email, go and speak to her. And it is just, it's just a shame.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. And it's a shame that we're having this conversation 10 years later and nothing much has shifted.
Yes.
No, you say so.
Sorry, I was explaining this to someone the other day. So everyone's talking about the wrong problem at the wrong end of the spectrum. So we have fashion design schools and these girls are going through the schools. And on the curriculum, there probably is not anything to do with plus size pattern making because these garments have to be designed thoughtfully. So, okay, let's start grassroots level at design schools. Next, it's the fashion editor's responsibility to keep up to date with women, and women in the marketplace have the money. Exactly what you said. These women have money. They want quality. They do not want to wear crappy sheen that's going to fall apart on their body, that does nothing for their bodies. Polyester that wraps around your body is not design. Okay, I'm sorry. Women with curves deserve to have something thoughtfully created for them that is going to last. And a lot of women now are so sustainable. They understand where their garments are being made and they actually want to invest in where garments are being made. So what I see the problem is everyone, okay, just say there's the curve edit runway. Everyone was focused on the models. Amazing. I've been pushing that agenda for curves being included in Fashion Week for years. Yeah. But do you know there was not one person in the whole of the Australian media, television, print, newspaper that did a follow-up article with any of us designers? Not one. Not one article went to print. Everything was about the models. Okay, models are great, but models don't make the clothes. Models don't put their house on the line to create a collection for women that need clothes to wear. And this is why I've done this. This is why I've launched this campaign, because it is a fashion editor's responsibility to give women what they want. If they start calling up me, calling up 17 Sundays, calling up Saint Somebody, the amazing swimwear brand, hey guys, we're doing an amazing editorial. We want you to just create one amazing piece, and see how it goes from there. Or just make one dress for us. We'll give you 6 months leadway. We will do something for you. And we would do it. We would jump. We all had to turn around a collection in 4 weeks for Fashion Week. So that proved 4 weeks.
Now, that means the majority of your the majority of those brands are all locally sourced and manufactured and made, obviously, in Australia for that short time frame. And we actually have a statistic for you listeners, which I pulled from your document. Thank you for sending it to me. Where is it here? Here we go. McKinsey said that 60% of people considered a brand's ethics while shopping, and the ABS showed that the average woman's waist circumference was 88 centimetres, which is equivalent to an Australian size 16 to 18. So that's interesting. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said I really think much about a brand's corporate social responsibility or the ethical nature of their manufacturing. But even myself as a consumer now, I am thinking twice about where I buy garments. So the other benefit, not for embodied women particularly, is I remember you saying the price. Yes, 10 years ago, the price is slightly higher because everything is Australian owned and made. And so you also have an industry that needs to adjust to subsidize or encourage local manufacturing. So you can also, whether it's making sure that the minimum orders are lower, making sure you've got access to beautiful fabrics and the actual manufacturing is affordable. It's just this massive customer segment that doesn't seem to be targeted by the media at all, except for the token. We'll do the token plus size.
We'll do the token body issue.
Aren't we brave?
Yeah. But we're going to use all the plus size models from overseas that totally do not actually relate to the landscape, our fashion landscape here. I want to read about our local talent. I mean, it's great. Look, there's an amazing model called Precious that's just done the Fendi runway. She's done W Magazine. She's just been featured with Linda Evangelista. I mean, this girl is absolutely killing it. She is black. She's amazing. She is just absolutely breaking that glass ceiling. I want to read about the girls here in Australia that are doing the same thing. We have a couple of models overseas that are achieving great things. We hear nothing about them. And this is a missed opportunity for our designers here, because if they're not showing our local talent a curve model in, just say in Vogue or Elle magazine, that means local designers that go above a size 14 their product's not being called in. And then you have a vicious cycle where we just don't exist.
Yes. So for those that aren't familiar with sort of PR, if you every brand from Natalie's brand, every brand in the world is obviously trying to get editorial opportunities by sending product and campaign images and press releases into the editors of magazines, on digital, print, any media outlet. And what that means is that you're hoping that the editor picks your garment and features it in the magazine so everyone knows all about you. The challenge with plus size brands is that you need a plus size model to wear them to do them justice. And if they're only being booked once a year, it means that all of these Australian owned, ethically sustainable, beautiful brands that meet the needs of the current Australian consumer are not being featured. And as Nat said, are completely silent. So it's crazy. I had last week, I was in some shopping centres, Mirvac-owned shopping centres, Greenwood Plaza, Met Centre, Stanhope Village in Sydney, because they did this incredible inclusive partnership with Miss Tyler, an app that match. Yes, so you're familiar with Miss Tyler.
Yeah,
the app, it partners users with fashion content creators that have the same measurements. Why is this so popular? Because people want to see garments on bodies that look like them. I mean, I don't know how much.
It's not brain surgery. This is not
brains. Exactly. It's not rocket science. Do you know what? It's not even fifth grade maths.
No, again, there's another level of misogyny involved. I'm like, who is making the big decisions at the top here? Again, is this a man? Is this a man?
Let's do some whistleblowing.
Yeah, I want to point my finger at him. But, who is really like, okay, the fashion editor's hands, again, might be tied because they then have to answer to someone else.
It's the advertisers.
Yes.
It's the people that fund the media, people that are paying to advertise. So if
I get enough money, I become an advertiser, and I can buy as many pages in Vogue or Elle or a billboard on revolving buses. Like, I can do whatever I want.
So this is why I texted you this morning and went, oh my God, this initiative is amazing. So our beautiful stylist Tors, the personal styler,
yes,
she read something you wrote yesterday or last week and said it really resonated with her because she works with Australian women who have, you know, sort of executive leadership positions. They're curvy. They want designer quality, beautiful garments. And we are so limited in Australia that it is actually quite hard. So anyway, through that, I saw that she'd reshared your post about this campaign, which I have written down here is Real Australian Fashion. Talk to me about the campaign idea and what you're hoping to do and how we can help.
I know it sounds crazy, doesn't it? Because
no, nothing with you sounds crazy. It just sounds like Nat. You have big dreams and you bloody well achieve them, whether it takes a day or a year or 10 years.
Yeah. Like, there's no like time limit on this. I'd really like to get cracking with this because I feel it just needs to happen. But anyway, so last week, on the back of some other stylists that did a massive rant in their car about not being able to buy clothes for their celebrities. Same thing as what you're doing. And he was so cranky, he did a whole rant how he couldn't get all the fabulous designers above a size 12. And I'm like, they don't care. They're not your demographic. They actually don't want to be in this space. They don't want their customers to be seen, you know, in their garments if they're oversized.
Can I just pause you there for a second? I think last week, the other issue is this narrative around that's not our brand. Well, what I want to say is your brand about making money? Do you actually, are you interested in driving revenue? You idiots. Because your customers are looking for clothing that fits their body. And there is this sort of stupid misconception about, no, we push the aspirational angle, which then makes everyone want to buy the clothing. No, we're all too tired of it now. We are too tired and we put our cash elsewhere then. And it is money left on the table.
That's exactly my point. And I said that these brands, right, with women, they actually don't want to cater to the 78%. One, they're missing out on a huge economy of women that are beautiful, but they're worried. They're actually very worried about offending their 22% of women. They're worried that the women that are smaller are going to be offended if they're walking down the street and see a size 20 woman wearing that $900 dress. Because again, it's exclusivity, isn't it? It's a special element of you're not in the cool club.
Yes, which is what I am vehemently against. But in this age, I mean, my daughter is 11 now, if you can believe, and I know, and the attitude in their school with regards to inclusivity on gender, sexuality, cultural backgrounds is so beautiful. So I kind of think, have we just got this historical segment that just needs to age out, that are making decisions currently that's not as relevant today? Because I know myself, it's not how my brain works. I wouldn't look at a garment that's on a person that looks different to me and think, oh, I'm not cool enough. But you're right. That attitude, I think, has been in part controlling some of the decisions.
They're scared. They're actually very scared. I actually think they're scared to dip their toe in because a lot of people have tried it and they've failed. And you know why? Because they don't back it up in their advertising. So let's just say theoretically Zimmerman come out with a extended size collection and it goes up to a 22. The problem is they won't shoot it on a size 18 or 20 model. Therefore, it just gets lost in translation again. And I have seen this. I've been doing this now. Like, I've been in this segment for 22 years of my life. I've seen so many brands try to enter this space and they fail, and they all turn around and go, see, I told you it wouldn't work. Those girls won't pay the money. It didn't work. No, it's not that it didn't work. It's they were not communicating by using the right imagery. Okay.
So they weren't selling it. So this is a really distinct difference. It's not that people weren't buying it. They just didn't know it was bloody available because you didn't advertise it. There was no brand awareness.
Yes, exactly. So this, again, is such a big subject. But like what you said, so I did this post And I don't know, the views went insane. It got quite a lot of likes compared to what my account usually gets. And it obviously hit a nerve with a lot of women, because I'm very much about, you know, the age inclusivity as well. We have so much talent in Australia where it's just, they're not being visible, and women want to be visible. And just because you turn 50, like 50 is like the new 30. You look at 50-year-olds now, they do not look 50. They're amazing. They're young. They're educated. They still have a whole life ahead of them. And this is when women start to actually live. We get our life back with our race
confidence. Guys, to hit an age where you finally give zero fucks, because you have a deep, quiet knowledge of who you are, of how hard you work, of the type of the choices that you make, is phenomenal. And you're so right. Gary Vee said this, a marketer. He said there's so many people he meets who are even in their late 30s, 40s, and they say, oh, well, it's too late for me. You know, I can't start a career now. He's like, what are you talking about?
No, you've got the time.
You've literally got enough. You could do this all over again. You've got a second half based on the medical
time. You've got the money. You've got
exactly
confidence, like what you say. You're confident. You're not scared of failing.
No, and because you realise that it's okay and that you would be able to navigate through it anyway. And there's I think for me, what's been a real it's a sort of passion project is the aging conundrum, and how as women, the wiser we get, the more experience, the calmer, the more peaceful, the better we get, the less we're heard. Exactly. From an age perspective. So again, I mean, this entire conversation could be kind of replaced with the concept of seeing older women with wrinkles, women whose faces move.
That's what I want to do. So that's what I want to do. I want to do this campaign, and I want, like, I've already visualized this in my head. Imagine driving to work, you're on the freeway, and you see this beautiful billboard with women, all ages, no hair, grey hair, wrinkles, size 22, size 6. I'm not excluding petites here either. I'm like, this is about all women feeling visible and valued, but particularly in the curve space, so I can give an opportunity for our designers to level up. There's nowhere for us to go here in Australia because there are no editorials. There's nowhere to go. I don't even really bother pushing my new collection through to the editors anymore, because I just know they'll go flick, not interested, not our reader. And I'm like, I'm sorry, there's a reason why your magazines have tanked, because they do not resonate with the Australian woman anymore.
Yeah. And also we do have that discretionary income to pick up a magazine with our coffee. I'll tell you what, it's so interesting. Again, it sounds like I'm doing a sales pitch, but if you look on the Embody Women website, it's very aspirational. Like the website, which we'll talk about later, your imagery is incredibly like high-end designer aspirational. It's stunning. So I look at that and think there shouldn't be any reason why we're not seeing that in magazines.
No.
So what are you hoping to? Okay, let's start again and actually explain what this campaign is, because we go on rants.
I know we're going. Oh dear. So Real Australian Fashion Campaign is it's basically giving a platform for designers, models of age and size, to be featured in a main editorial that I will use stylists that, again, need to be visible, because like you, they actually want to style, give women the techniques on how to show up in the world, giving women confidence to be able to go for that corporate job, go on that date. Because if you don't have anything beautiful to wear, there's a lot of things you miss out on, because you're like, well, all my beautiful girlfriends have that amazing dress, and what do I have? And I know so many women that have decided to sit at home and eat a bag of fries and a tub of ice cream because they had nothing to wear. So this campaign is about visibility. And I also want the power to do it beautiful. I don't want the curve models, the age models, to be a second, like, what do you call it? Like
an afterthought.
An afterthought. I want it done properly. I want to use amazing photographers. I want to use the best talent we have and get a huge group of women involved and just make this huge. I just want it everywhere, just to show them and the power. I still believe there's power in print. There's a lot of people that still want to pick up a magazine. I'd love to be able to buy a magazine, but I just know it's not good for my headspace, because all I'm seeing is a 15-year-old selling a wrinkle cream. I don't want to see a 15-year-old selling a wrinkle cream.
I know. Not unless you tell me that 15-year-old is actually 100 years old and she used the bloody cream and now she looks 15. So we're burying the lead here. The point is, Nat is you've created a GoFundMe page where people can donate, so you can actually do a 6-page editorial takeover in Vogue or Elle or one of the print magazines, which is going to be a massive advertorial spread focusing on highlighting all of the
Australian brands. Australian brands. I don't want to know about the international brands. I want to shine a light on the people here that are actually trying to extend their size range. Yeah, giving them some focus, giving the spotlight so that they get some traction, get some money to do another collection, to keep going. It's about keeping going, and it's about consistency. Again, why do curve brands fail? Because there is no consistency. And I also thought maybe it's not doing 6 pages in Vogue or Elle or another magazine.
We've changed the campaign.
I want to do that, but the mission could actually change where, this could also lead into a segue of being able to participate in Fashion Week next year with our inclusive clientele.
Well, we did, didn't you, this year?
Yes.
Which Fashion Week do you mean? So you talk about that for a minute.
Well, so Bella Management Chelsea actually personally funded the Curve Edit runway with her own money. That is the only reason it happened. She bought that show to showcase her models, shine a light on some designers that are still here trying to do something for women. So that's my goal with the campaign. That's where the money would go. It's about making women visible, whether you're a size 26 or whether you're 86, whatever race you are, whatever. But, as I said in my interview, even if I'm only given $500, I will still do something with that. I will make it work. I've aimed high to show people that it could be huge. It could be really big if I get enough support.
You are such a fabulous example of someone that that the fire that burns in you is this belief in a cause. From a marketing perspective, I mean, we often, when we're creating a brand for a business, we talk about what do you fight for? What do you stand for? And what are you fighting against? Because customers, your audience, potential clients, they resonate with these causes, and that is what can build an incredible connection, which leads to them becoming actual, customers. So I love the fact, again, that it is you turning up every day. You're a mum of 3 boys. Nothing has been easy for you at all. And you push and push and push with that belief, which is great because, once again, people would look at your website, they'd look at your photos, they'd look at your content and go, she is on another echelon. I can't have that success. I can't, I've got something I believe in, but I could never do it myself. And and what you've just said is, just turning up every day knowing that what you believe in is valid and important and deserves to be heard is 90% of the battle.
And it doesn't have to be an overnight success. And we all know an overnight success takes about 20 years. Yeah. I feel like I'm a bit like in Shawshank Redemption, chipping away at that wall. I finally make it out and I'm swimming in the sewer. Anyway, it's way off topic.
It's true. So I normally ask stylists in this sort of show what they think the most impactful marketing activities were to grow their business. And I wanted to ask you, because I know you're not a stylist technically, but again, someone that is driven by a passion to influence the fashion and retail industry. without the capital investment, without someone saying, here you go, let's splash out on ads. Yeah, let's have a $10,000 website. Let's have an SEO.
By the way, if there's anyone out there that has bags of money they don't know what to do with, just give it to me. I'll make more clothes, okay?
I'll put a link to her BPay details down below.
Yeah.
So
in all seriousness, like I started Embody with my baby bonus. So do you remember when the government?
Yes, I do. I got one.
Okay, so John Howard, I think, he gave every person a $5,000 bonus, and everyone went and bought plasma TVs. Do you remember? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Because we've got two of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of buying a plasma TV, I actually started Embody Women with that. With that. And I slept with denim floor to wall in our bedroom for a couple of years, you know, and didn't draw a cent from the business for a long time either. Just constantly reinvested, because one of the most best things that I ever learned or ever read was you have to invest in yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to keep reinvesting in yourself. So it might take a long time, but like I'm here for the long game. Like this is not a solution that's going to go away. I feel we're just constantly going to keep having this conversation. But if I can help by doing this, and if I get off the ground and just say it goes viral and all you see is my head everywhere. No, I'm kidding. It's not just my head, but it will make women realise they are visible, they're important, they afford to show up in the world, they are worthy to show up in the world, they're worthy to go and buy beautiful clothing. And I also want to kind of prove to the editors that, just say if I had 6 months worth of content going to print in Vogue or Elle, and all of a sudden readership goes up, all of a sudden women are buying the magazine, all of a sudden we have lots of new little curve brands popping up. What will this tell them? I kind of want to prove a point that, well, maybe if you change the narrative slightly, we don't want the whole pie. We just want a little piece. You know, I don't want to eat the whole cake. I just want a little sliver. You know, just a little sliver. It could just be even a really short little editorial piece. Start small. You know, show women that they can dress well, they can dress amazing, and show them where to go, because a lot of people don't even know where to start with plus size brands, because there are quite a lot. And you get on the internet and you type in plus size jacket, the first thing that's going to come up is Shein or Fashion Nova or something. You know, you've actually got to dig deep.
Well, we've got a lot of our styling community worldwide whose clients are mid-40s, late 40s plus, and a lot of these women are deciding for the first time to launch their own business, to start their own business. So they need a brand shoot because they need beautiful photos for their website and for LinkedIn, and so they need great outfits. And then they also want outfits for if they're going to a pitching meeting or if they're having a networking event, and they go to a lot of these networking events. These women statistically are size 16 to 18 and sort of stretching to size 20 if we were to think of the largest kind of customer segment. So there's all these women that have the money to spend on themselves and their business, and the first thing they do is they look to book a stylist and a brand shoot, and then the stylist goes, great, I can do anything. If someone could provide me with the clothing.
Yes. You're going to be nude. Do you feel really good going nude to your seminar today? That's how you're going. Let's get the glad wrap and tinfoil. We'll make something for you.
This really reflects your brand. It's what I love about you, Nat, also is that your initiative is seeking to change the decision making. It's a strategic shift that, as opposed to we're just doing a campaign to raise awareness. Your goal is to actually change the way decisions are made in the media for the flow-on effect to impact the styling industry, the fashion industry, the retail industry, and the customer.
You know what my husband said when I told him? You know what Ben said? He goes, so basically you're going to be the Clive Palmer. And I went, yes, I'm just going to have so much money that I get to make the decisions. Like in all honesty.
I'd give you my money and I'd give you my vote.
Yeah, and I think, okay, if I was a man and my job was to start this campaign, I wouldn't be emailing the editors going, do you think you could help me do this campaign, blah, 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 blah. No, I'd go, okay, I want $1 million. Give me $1 million and this is how I'm going to do it, because we're in a man's world. So I'm like, I really need to start thinking like a man. That's why I asked for $150,000. I know it seems like a lot of money, but you know how much it costs to do things really well, and this space has never been given the attention that it deserves. And again, it's doing it consistently. I don't really want it just to be a one-off. Like if this was drip fed through the media for 6 months, it'd be way more powerful than just a one-off.
Absolutely. So what can personal stylists that are listening and have their own micro communities of maybe it's 200, maybe it's 2,000 customers on their own email lists who are all looking for this clothing, how can they support your initiative, and how can they also be involved potentially when this 6 months worth of shoots begins once you've hit your goal?
Well, I'd actually really like for them to reach out to me, because I'm going to need help. I can't do all of this on my own. There's going to be models and talents in other states where I may not be able to be. So I'm like, I really want this to be a collective effort amongst women and the community. So this is not about actually embody women at all. Yes, my brand might be included, but this is about raising awareness to all the stylists that are struggling like you to dress women.
Wait, not like me. Again, I'm not a stylist. I just do the marketing, but you know what I mean. Just in case people, yeah. Carry on.
You have been a stylist, but anyway. So it's shining a light on everyone that if this message resonates with you, then I'm quite happy for them to drop me an email. I think the more the merrier, the more people get involved and share the story. Donate $2. I will make it work. I guarantee I'll make it work. And I've got enough people that will actually jump on board and probably do a lot of things for free if I have to, but I just want to do it well. Really well.
Nat, well done. Well done. And so for anyone that wants to reach out to Nat, we'll put her email and website and socials, everything on the podcast description for you. And we are going to do some Instagram lives, I think, to chat about this. And I think this idea will evolve over time, you know.
It's a bit of a foreign concept, because who asks for money to do a photo shoot? But it is for a good cause. Like you say, you've got an 11-year-old daughter. How amazing would it be for her to be sitting in the car, looking up, going to school, going, oh, wow, that's actually what women look like. But look how well they're dressed. You know, they're not in a striped T-shirt and leggings, because that's the only option they have to wear.
Yes. So that's the other thing. I know when you came out with a range of jumpsuits, and you've been, I think it's the classic. Is it the Clio? What's the body?
Oh, the Helena. It's just on repeat. I can't make that thing fast enough now.
Exactly, because you've created such an amazing cut with like really dramatic fabrics. And that's something we also want to see. We don't just want the Zimmermann dress, but just in the different sizes. Like, think about how to dress curves. Think about how to accentuate curves and balance the silhouette. And we want fun and beautiful colors and textures, not just, again, the token. Here's a shift. Here's essentially a potato sack with a hole cut out, but we'll put a lovely brooch on it.
Can you go get your mother's pearls? Yes, that'll be fabulous.
That'd be lovely. Pop a hat on. We want drama. We want fabulousness.
We have young women now as well. Like I said, the statistics of the 88 centimetre waist. So a lot of young women now are a size 14 or 16, probably at the age of 14, okay? And they're going into Maya with their girlfriends, shoved down to the corner with the dim lit, like, you know, near the toilet. So it usually has a toilet smell near the plus size section too, which is just fabulous. You know, you really want that.
It's a really lovely fragrance.
So again, you know, we've got younger women that aren't seeing anything visually that's quite appealing for them to get up in the morning and go, I am going to look amazing when I go out this Saturday night in a glitzy jumpsuit where all the girlfriends are going, man, I want to wear that. And guess what? You can, because it goes size 8 to 26. You know, like, I'm not trying to exclude the petites either, because I know petite women can still be curvy. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. But petite women at least have access to clothing that they can alter.
Yes.
Plus size women don't have clothing that they can alter, like with.
Go into the department store. We're actually not welcome. There's a big sign up the front that says, sorry, you're too fat, go away. Do you know that?
Is there? It's what
sorry,
we're
we don't want your money.
Seeing look, I think we've been chatting for a while and people will probably lose interest soon, as is the nature of the attention span. But we can continue talking. If you'd like to hear us talk more about low-rise jeans and the state of the industry, we will be doing this again. Nat, thank you so much. You funny, funny woman.
Thank you.